Hello there, friends. Thank you for joining me on the new Mailbag Sunday. I have two videos coming out every Sunday. Now, in the mornings, I have my usual upholstery tutorial, and in the afternoons is where you're going to see the Sunday mailbag. Make sure you stick with me every Sunday, and you'll be learning a lot. So, the first question comes from Alternatmusicaddict. He says, "Hi again, Richard. When doing many boat seats at once, do you cut out all the patterns first or one seat at a time? Or would you say whatever you like best? Maybe you have said it in a video, but thanks for answering always." So this is what I said to him. I said, "Hello, alternate. Hi there. If some of the cushions are the same, it is easier and faster to make the patterns for those at the same time. If there are odd-shaped or one-of-a-kind cushions, we have no choice but to do those at one time. However, I always cut the largest patterns from the roll first and then the smaller patterns from what is left. This really cuts down on waste." So let's elaborate on that answer. So many boat seat cushions, they come in all shapes and sizes, but because the boat itself is kind of like symmetrical like that, you have a left and a right side, but it's not always going to be the same cushions on the left and the right side. But sometimes the left and the right side are the same. So sometimes I'm able to make a left hand pattern and a right hand pattern. So what I can do is, as I'm drawing out the left side patterns, I just kind of flip them over and make a duplicate of that, and it becomes the right side. If you can do that, and you have more than one, if you have more than two actually, and if you have a bunch of them, it's a lot faster to make all the duplicate patterns all at once. But like I said here, sometimes you get some really strange shapes, some with other curves or something like that. Now you're kind of stuck with making one pattern at a time, and it does take longer to do it that way. But if you can imagine making like 6 cushions at a time with the same pattern, man, that workflow goes by very smoothly. So there have been times when a customer says, "Well, I just want to bring you a couple cushions, and then I can do all the other cushions later." Or they might bring me 2 kitchen chairs or dining chairs, and then they'll say, "I'll bring you the other 4 later." And I always try to encourage them to bring everything that they have, because it's a lot easier for me to get everything done, using this method. Making 4 or 5 or 6 of everything that's all the same goes by much more smoothly. So if you have a customer that comes by and you know that they have, okay, we'll use the dining chair. Okay, so you know that they come to you with 2 dining chairs. Well, you know that they're probably gonna have more than that. So you got to ask them, "Well, how many chairs do you have?" And then they'll say, "Well, I have 6 chairs, but I'm just gonna go ahead and do these 2 chairs now." And I was telling him, I said, "Well, it's a lot harder for me to do the 2 chairs for you this week, and then next month you want to bring me 4 more chairs. Then it's like kind of like starting all over again. It's like reinventing the wheel, right? Where you don't have to reinvent the wheel if you have all the chairs in front of you." So could you imagine buying enough material to do 2 chairs, the ones that they dropped off, and then later on, you have to buy the same material for 4 more chairs later on, and even probably pay shipping again for the material? Oh, no way, Jose. But then again, some of you might be saying, "Well, what if you make paper patterns that you can duplicate later?" And then I'm like, "Okay, well, so that's an extra step. You could really make the pattern out of your vinyl and skip that extra step." Not only that, but if you have paper patterns, you invested time making those, and then what are you going to do with them when you're done? You're going to throw them in the trash, right? So that's just more waste in material, more waste in time. The reason I cut all the patterns for the largest seat covers first is because that's what's going to be eating most of your material on the roll. So you're going to be cutting out large portions out of your roll. So then what you do is you take the smaller cushions and you kind of fit around where you still have vinyl, and you're able to get smaller cushions out of those areas. So there's less waste. So remember, efficiency is the name of the game. You always want to be as efficient as possible, 100% of the time.
If you find value in my upholstery tutorials, now is an easier way to contribute to my YouTube channel. Buy a coffee by scanning this QR code now. Thank you.
And now let's move on to our next question. What? Oh, wow, look at this. It's also coming from Alternate Music Addict. We got a twofer today. So he's asking some good questions. So here's his second question. He says, would you say I could use DAP Weldwood Landau top and trim adhesive that comes in a spray can that they sell? As beginner, I'm not sure when I will need a whole setup with an air compressor yet. I know eventually, but to get me started, I think it should be good. And this is what I had to say to him. I said, hello, alternate. My answer would be that I don't know. I have never used it. From what I understand, the spray can is not the same glue that comes in a can. My rule of thumb is to never use anything that comes in a spray can as they are too unreliable. Many find out the hard way. Because I have paying customers, I only use contact adhesive for everything I do. I found that all contact adhesives are about the same regardless of name brand. If you don't have the spray equipment yet, you can use a brush, but that is the hard way. So I have a video about using spray glue and how everybody that uses it finds out the hard way. And sometimes it even ends up in tragedy. They use the spray can glue that sounds like three men. Okay, so they use that stuff and with the heat and all, their work, whatever it is that they did, some people even use it for headliners, and then the headliner falls, and then they're wondering why. So then they find out that the glue itself, it never cures. So it stays tacky all the time. So it's good for arts and crafts, but for upholstery, I don't think so. So I think the spray can version of the DAP Weldwood Landau top and trim adhesive, it's not what they say it is. Okay, it sounds good on the label, but when in practical use, I think it's just another spray can adhesive. I'm saying this because I've never used it, and I keep thinking to myself, well, maybe I should buy a can of that and try it so that way I can probably give accurate information. But people have already told me that that it's not the same glue, which kind of goes to tell me that if it's coming from a spray can, they probably have to formulate it differently so that way it's able to spray out of that little nozzle that they give you on a spray can. Maybe that's why they're not as strong as they should be. Oftentimes, I'll tell the commenters that they could try it if they want to, but I wouldn't do it, especially if I had a paying customer. I would never want that car to come back on me because it not only, you're using a $15 spray can or whatever it costs. I don't know what it costs because I've never bought one. But, you're putting your whole reputation on that $1,500 spray can. And to me, that's just not worth it. Wow. Can you imagine that? At least the real contact adhesive in a can, what it does is it'll cure and it'll fasten whatever material that you're using. It'll fasten it together very well. And it really does the job it's supposed to do. The spray can adhesive, it never cures. You'll notice that it makes a huge mess, especially if somebody used spray can adhesive on a headliner. Now they made a huge mess for the next person that really wants to do the headliner the right way. So should I be deceived by the Weldwood Landau top and trim adhesive spray can? So if you're out there, DAP Weldwood, you're welcome to send me a can. I'll give it a try. I could do the test. I wouldn't do it for a customer yet, but I'm willing to give it a shot. So I'll go ahead and put the link to the spray can adhesives down there below so you can see for yourself what I mean about these spray can adhesives. Both questions are really good questions, and these are questions that you should also be thinking about. If you're thinking about it, put it down in the comments, and we'll keep that conversation going, right? Be sure to get in all your comments, and who knows, maybe your comment will be featured. I hope you're enjoying our new Sunday afternoon mailbag segment. So until next time.
If you like this video, you'll really like the next one.
Putting your whole reputation on that $1,500 spray can. So always remember that efficiency is the name of the game. You want to be as efficient